hello everyone once again. So the question I asked you before was, what are the top 10 ways of motivating followers? The floor is yours, please.
I think the leader should support new ideas from the followers. He should show concern to each individual. He must lead by example. He must keep the followers challenged with their tasks. He must inspire them, offer rewards other than their salary, of course. He must give positive feedback, allow them to participate in the decision process. He must define a clear goal and provide affiliation or structure.
Okay, thank you. All right. Bakri, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
In my opinion, I think that the most important way to motivate followers is to often praise them and compliment them in order to increase their individual implication and loyalty to the work they are doing.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
Innovation, and we also can get the followers to get promoted because I think that's money. It's a big source of motivation. We also should share a lot of information, like to let them know the current situation.
All right.
And to get them to involve in the solution and etc.
Okay. Well, that sounds like a good idea about motivating followers. Now I'll move on to Abdullah.
Hello. I believe that in order to motivate followers, first of all, you should give them rewards. You should also recognize their good work, and whenever they do something good, you should let them know. When the leader sees that the follower isn't good, he should ask him and know what's happening. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Now we move on to Hannah. What are your suggestions about motivating followers? So what are the top 10 ways of motivating followers? Go ahead.
I think that you sure that the followers will be motivated if they think they are capable of performing their work. So they want to feel efficacious. And leaders also must give them rewards if they realize those.
Like Abida Ayoub, Bakri, and Jobo Sharif have stated, there are different ways to motivate followers depending on their characteristics and depending on the goals, the designated goal they're working to achieve all together. So, and this is basically what the path goal theory implies or is about. So, the path goal theory basically is about how leaders motivate followers to accomplish designated goals. And today, we're going to have a discussion, a thorough discussion on the different components of the path goal theory and the types of motivation, the motivational needs that suit each follower or most followers, and the styles of leadership or the behaviors of leadership that need to be developed for each particular situation and towards each particular follower. Okay, so the question I'd like to ask here is, when did the path goal theory first appear? When did the path goal theory first appear? And who were the researchers that are mostly associated with, or that were mostly associated with the path goal theory? Anyone? Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Yes, Zineb, and then Ayub, and then Sabir. Okay. Zin, we begin with Zineb first.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Zineb.
So, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Um the path goal theory appeared in the 1970,
Mm-hmm.
and Evans and House, Mitchell and Dessler who started this literature, this leadership.
Okay, very good. So it first appeared in the 1970s, and those who were associated with this particular theory were Evans, House, and House and Michel, and House and Dissler, 1971, 1974, and 1974. Okay, so I guess that Ayub, Sabir, probably had the same answer. Okay, yes? If yes, you say yes.
Okay, yes.
Right. Good. So the path goal theory, as mentioned by Yasmin, I think, oh, right? Was she Yasmin? So yeah, it first appeared in the leadership literature in the early 1970s, in the works of Evans, House and Dissler, House and Mitchell, 1974. And the stated goal of leadership, yes, Zineb. So, what is the goal of this theory? What is the goal of this theory? Mm-hmm. Anybody answer this question? So, what is the goal of this theory? Yes, Ayub?
Yes, teacher, this theory wasn't focusing just on the leader, but he was it was focusing on enhancing followers' performance and follower satisfaction.
Okay, good. Right. Yes, Muad? Sabir, the floor is yours.
Hello.
Hello.
The basic idea behind path goals theory defines goals, clarifies paths, removes obstacles, and provides support.
Yes, that's perfect. Okay, that's the point basically about the path goal theory. But there are also other points that we will be talking about in particular, especially the one that is related to motivation and followers' performance and followers' satisfaction as well. So if we compare the path goal theory to the situational approach, can anybody tell me whether there is any difference or similarity between the path goal theory and the situational approach that we to leadership that we covered a few weeks ago, which is a trait of the follower. So authoritarian, it means a follower who likes to be dominated by the leader, who likes to follow certain rules, who likes to follow task instruction. So that's what we mean by being authoritarian. And so a directive behavior of leadership is adopted for those followers who have a certain ambiguity of the tasks that they are supposed to complete in the workplace. So sometimes you are uncertain and you don't have a clear vision of what you are supposed to do. And in this respect, you really need to be dominated. You really need to to be led and instructed by a certain leader who should develop directive leadership rather than participative or supportive. Now, on the other hand, there is another leadership behavior which is adopted by leaders, which is the supportive leadership behavior. So, Supportive leadership behavior is developed when leaders think that their followers have a certain proclivity towards affiliation. They like to be affiliated, and they have certain needs, and of course they share something. They have something in common with their leaders. So, in order to motivate those followers, you need to attend to their well-being and human needs, and support them at the workplace. Because when you support them by praising, by aspiring for their, as I said, what they like in the workplace, then you are being supportive. So also when you treat your followers as equals and give them more respect, that also plays a big role in motivating followers to and make them, of course, achieve goals. And then there is another behavior, which is the participative behavior, in which the leader invites his followers to share in the decision making. So the leader consults with followers, he seeks their ideas and opinions, and also integrates their input into group organizational decisions. Then the last one, which is achievement-oriented behavior or leadership, and this one deals basically with the challenges the followers or the leader who basically likes to challenge followers. And remember, somebody at the very beginning of this session mentioned that there are certain followers who are motivated by challenge. If you challenge them, then they get motivated more and more. So this type of behavior is adopted for these particular of followers who like to be challenged by their leaders. And so leaders in such in this particular type of behavior like to establish a high standard of excellence for subordinates. So he has high expectations, and he keeps or he seeks continuous improvement. So that's why sometimes he may demonstrate a high degree of confidence in followers' ability to establish and achieve challenging goals.